Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. You're here with me, Sarit and Stevie K. Today we are watching 11 Proofs India is Not Like Any Other Country. Interesting.
Yeah. Don't know nothing about it. Sorry.
If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so. We have Instagram too, and we have Twitter, but also we have Magic Flicks TV, where we will be doing vloggings and all sorts of different things. So it'd be lovely to have you on there too. Shall we watch this?
No. Let's go to bed now. That's
I
it.
actually feel like it's so hot, guys. You don't understand. It's so hot here in the UK. Probably not as hot as it is in India. But all I want to do is sit outside and have a nice cocktail and enjoy the sun. But I kind of want to enjoy the sun, but I'm getting ghali as well. Like, I'm getting tanned. Okay, so let's carry on. Sorry, my sock story again. Chalo, shuru karo.
मैं क्या बोली जा पहला?
It's hot, guys.
Hey everybody, simple question for you. Who doesn't love traveling? Well, I sure do, and I've been to a lot of different countries. But there's one that will stick with me forever.
Hey.
India. Like I said, I'm pretty well traveled. I like to go abroad at least once a year, so I've got a lot of trips under my belt.
Oh, look
But
at
when
that.
a friend told me that I just have to see India, well, that's exactly what I did. I went in September, the last month of the summer monsoon. It was pretty dry and sunny, but with short rains here and there. The perfect weather for a traveler, if you ask me. Being the confident and well-experienced globetrotter that I am, I went there prepared, and I thought I was ready for anything. Boy, was I wrong. The colors, the contrasts, the pace, the people, everything hit me like a ton of bricks, and didn't let go even when I was already back home. As soon as I stepped out of the airport, I felt dizzy. It could have been the heat, the jet lag, or the hunger in my belly. I assumed it was the latter, so I decided to head out for some authentic Indian food as soon as I throw my bags in my hotel room. Now, the food there deserves a big shout out. First of all, Indians eat very little meat. In fact, they have the lowest meat consumption per person in the world. Most of their dishes are vegetarian, and meat is replaced with soy meat. This is mostly because 80% of the population is Hindu. Probably like you, I'd always heard that Hinduism requires a strictly vegetarian diet, but that's not the case. It's just because they believe not eating meat minimizes the hurt they bring to other living beings. That's definitely one of the things I learned during my travels, and I was pleasantly surprised. Another thing about food in India is that it's all heavily spiced. That comes as no surprise, really, since India is well known across the world as the biggest spice producer and exporter. But there's one region that stands out exclusively in this regard, the state of Kashmir. It's home to the most valuable spice ever, saffron. Sure, this flower isn't unique to India. It also grows in Iran and Spain. Kashmir, however, produces the highest quality and the most expensive saffron in the world.
Wow.
The town of Pampore is literally built around saffron fields. There are actually 3 varieties cultivated there. There's Mongra, the most expensive one, that costs about $1,600 a pound. Then you've got Lacha, which, interesting enough, is less pricey at $1,000 per pound. Yet saffron farmers say it's the purest. And finally, there's Zarda. It's the cheapest, but only compared to other varieties, because $250 a pound isn't exactly what I call cheap. Anyway, India's spice game is definitely on point. So, I found a good place to eat, and as soon as I saw the menu, I remembered that Indian is also famous for its large variety of teas, or as the locals call it, chai.
Yeah.
You should see the sheer number of options. I never thought there could be that many types of tea. If you're a tea drinker, I'm sure you know Darjeeling and Assam. But have you ever heard of Karnataka or Kangra? Does Munnar ring a bell? I don't blame you. I had no idea that these kinds exist either, and those are just the tea-producing regions. There's even more once you get into the types of chai by adding particular spices and herbs. Take, for example, masala chai, which is made with cinnamon, ginger, cloves, and herbs. I personally fell in love with butter tea. It's so thick,
Okay.
creamy, I could drink it by the gallon. Basically, you take tea leaves, some butter, hot water, and salt. Mix it all up and thank me later. With a full belly and plenty of chai pumping through my veins, I was ready for some sightseeing. I landed in New Delhi, so I spent the rest of the day walking around and taking in all the sights. Whenever I go abroad, I like to carry a little phrase book in the local language. Well, if you ever find yourself in India, you're gonna need a really big book because there are actually 22 officially recognized languages there. English is among them, so I was okay just sticking to that. But those 22 official
Wow.
languages are just a drop in the huge linguistic ocean of the country. By different accounts, there are from 122 to 300 major languages spoken in India, as well as up to 1,600 lesser known ones. Basically, if you travel from one town to another, you'll hear people talking a different language. And if you happen to go to another state, you can forget everything you might have learned in your previous location. How they manage to communicate with each other is still beyond me. New Delhi was awesome. I wish I could talk more about it, but I had a lot to see. I did find time to take a train up to Amritsar and see the Golden Temple. How do I even begin to describe it? The whole thing is covered in gold and sits in the middle of a huge pool of water. This is where the tradition of langar takes place. Langar is a vegetarian meal that's given to any and everyone who comes to the temple, regardless of their
Langar.
background or beliefs. Just imagine, the Golden Temple provides a free meal to over 50,000 people a day. And on special occasions, it can feed up to 200,000. I got a free meal too, and it was really delicious. You can volunteer there as well. I did just that because I was in so much awe about the place, I didn't want to leave. What I actually regret is that I didn't get to see the Kumbh Mela in action. It's one of the greatest celebrations of India, and apparently it's a sight to behold. In 2011, so many pilgrims gathered in one place that the whole congregation of 75 million people was even visible from space. This year, it's taking place from January until early
That's
March.
2019.
So if you've seen it with your own eyes, just know that I'm so jealous. In fact, whatever India does, it does it on a huge scale. For example, it has the largest number of post offices in the world. Wherever you go, you'll stumble upon one literally on every corner. The irony of this is that it doesn't really help the situation with delivery times. One Indian guy told me it's totally normal to wait for your package to be delivered in 2 weeks' time, even if it was sent from a nearby town. But hey, patience is a virtue. But it doesn't stop there. India places third in terms of the number of Guinness World Record holders. The world's fastest nose typer, the most expensive wedding ever held, and the most selfies taken together are just a few of the bizarre world records held in this country. What else? The largest railroad network in the world? Check. Well, almost, since the United States does technically have more. But anyway, India has built over 3.5 million miles of railroads, which, considering the smaller size of the country, still means easier transit within and between different locations. With that in mind, it shouldn't really be a huge surprise that Indian Railways is also the largest employer in the world. It has over 1 million employees, and considering the country's extensive railway network, these people are scattered throughout India, from the smallest villages to the biggest cities. The number of jobs grows every year, so it looks like you could always get a job there if you're looking for employment in India. Anyway, what can I say about my final impressions? I was blown away, and I seriously didn't want to leave this fascinating place. Visiting it was like going to a whole new world for me. I tried to get as many souvenirs as I could, but I almost forgot one important thing. If you ever go there, by the way, you'd better remember it too. No one is allowed to take India's national currency in or out of the country. It's actually against the law, so make sure you change your money before you cross the border. I almost made this mistake, but a friendly local told me to exchange my rupees at the airport, and off I went, headed back home with my suitcase full of exotic stuff and my head pulsing with impressions.
Invented by Indian Ajay Bhatt holds the
Can
honor.
you tell me anything else about India that I missed? I'm definitely going to go back, so leave me some recommendations down in the comments too. And if you enjoyed hearing my story, then give this video a like, share it with your friends, and hit the subscribe button to join me on the bright side of life.
Well, some to take in.
I know. Do you know the beginning? It showed you some kind of a dome in Delhi. Did you see the white kind of dome?
The dome or
It's like
the
some
structure.
kind of. It's like this structure that went up like that, and it kind of looked like a lotus leaf. Did you see the white one? No. Well, And I've said this before to you in a previous video. That is probably the place that I went to when I first went to India. So when I went the first time, we stopped up at Delhi, stayed at a relative's house there. And from Delhi, we went to Amritsar, to Punjab, which was like an 8-hour travel in a car. And it was the most scariest thing ever. Obviously, that was years ago, so it was the only way you could get to Punjab. And the roads were so uneven, and all the way there you're holding on to each other, you know, bumpy ride all the way there. But I just remember, I've been saying to you, there was something in Delhi I seen, and it was just amazing. It looked like a dome or a lotus leaf white. That's it. I want to know what it is because it's so many years ago. I can barely remember it, but it was just like something that stuck with me. I know I've seen something there in Delhi, and I don't know what it is, but it is that. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what it is, but it's I have seen it. And then it reminded me of the journey from there to Amritsar. But obviously every time we've been since, it's been a lot better because we get straight off at Amritsar. That one Tutti road all the way, Tutti Frutti road all the way. What did they used to call it? Do you remember? That one sadak that went all the way to Punjab from Delhi. No?
GT Road? I don't know.
It was, but good memories.
I think that was where the truck companies used to go up and down. But yeah, so did you know all that stuff or any other
Obviously
stuff?
we know about the tea and stuff, but there's obviously the different teas
And the
stuff.
foods.
The only one I knew was the masala, so there's so many.
Obviously know about
saffron. Freaking hell.
No, I didn't know about saffron.
No,
I didn't know that
about-
there were 3 types and how expensive
I
they
heard
are.
of saffron, but obviously you didn't know how expensive they are.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not at all.
I obviously knew about Golden Temple and everything being there.
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
Languages more or
I
less.
like the way you said
Langar.
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 But you wouldn't obviously I expect a big number, but that much to be fed a day. They could be up to 200,000.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's. I just find it extraordinary always to be able to learn something new. Even if it's a little bit. You know, some things you obviously do know, but then some things you don't
There's
know
so
of.
much. No,
But
right.
I mean, like the USBs come, like the person who created
Had no
that
idea.
and stuff like that, and you get to find these little bits
Yeah.
that you find and you go, oh wow, that's quite interesting. Obviously the train structures and everything. Anyway, guys, that was like I said, it was 11 proofs. India is not like any other country, so it's something different. Wanted just like watch something, see a bit more about India, things that we haven't known about. Let us know which things you guys already knew about, which things that you haven't, and you just learned now. Write them down in the comments. Make sure you click on the like button, share it with people you know, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next
Take
one,
care, see you
guys.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.